sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're diving into the love life of Kevin Costner.
Ooh.
You know him, right?
Yeah.
The Hollywood legend with those steely blue eyes and that kind of quiet intensity.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
But there's more to him than just those iconic roles. You know?
Right.
There's a really fascinating story about his relationships, and we're going to try to figure out how his personal life might have, crossed paths with his career. You know, how those two things kind of...
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always interesting to, peek behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
We build up these stories about celebrities in our heads.
Right.
But their lives are just as complicated as anyone else's, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And the source material that we're using for this deep dive really leans into that whole, messiness thing.
Okay.
It's this article called The Many Exes of Kevin Costner, Hollywood's Eternal Eligible Bachelor. So, right from the start, you get this feeling that there's more to the story than you might think at first.
Yeah, for sure. That title definitely makes you think about, all the ups and downs of love and fame and what that all means.
Yeah.
It's promising to look at all these different chapters in his life.
Right.
And hopefully try to understand, what they tell us about Costner as a person.
Yeah, and speaking of chapters, there's this detail in the article that totally hooked me.
Okay.
Apparently, when Costner met his first wife, Cindy Silva, she was working as a Snow White character performer at Disneyland.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Seriously, Snow White and the future Hollywood heartthrob
I know.
meeting at the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that even these huge stars sometimes have really normal beginnings.
Right. It's such a humanizing thing, isn't it?
Totally.
And what's crazy is they met in college, got married in 1978, years before Costner became a big deal.
Wow.
And they were together for 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah, before they finally divorced in 1994.
That's a lifetime by Hollywood standards.
I know, right?
Think about all the other famous couples from back then.
Yeah.
Very few of them made it that long.
Right.
It really makes you wonder what the relationship was actually like.
Yeah.
And how they dealt with all the pressure of Hollywood, you know?
Yeah, and the article even says this when they're talking about their early years, what could go wrong, right? Almost like they're hinting at the eventual breakup.
Oh, wow.
But for over a decade, it seemed like they were beating the odds,
Yeah, it makes you wonder if it really was a fairy tale or if there were already problems there from the beginning.
Right.
And did Costner's fame, play a role in their separation?
That's a great question.
Oh.
And it wasn't just any actor becoming famous.
Yeah.
It was Costnermania.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dances with Wolves, The Bodyguard, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Huge. He was everywhere.
That kind of fame can be so isolating, though,
Yeah.
And put a lot of pressure on a relationship.
Oh, for sure.
You're always in the spotlight,
Right.
dealing with rumors and fans and temptations.
Yeah.
It's a lot for any couple to handle, even if they seem like they have this perfect romance.
So their story started way before the red carpets and paparazzi.
Right.
Back when Costner was just another guy trying to make it as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Did those early years when things were more normal, did that make their bond strong enough to handle Hollywood? Or was the breakup bound to happen no matter what?
It's tough to say for sure, but I definitely think it's worth thinking about.
Yeah.
And looking at the details of their marriage,
Right.
the challenges they had and when exactly things fell apart will give us some really good insights.
Okay, so let's dive into that then.
One thing that stood out to me in the article was how Cindy was so much more than just, a supportive wife.
Oh, yeah.
She was actually really involved in Costner's early career. She even helped him get some of his first acting gigs.
Wow, so she was really his partner.
Yeah, in every sense of the word, they built something amazing together.
Right from the ground up.
And that's what makes their divorce even more, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just the end of their romance, it was the end of this partnership they'd had for almost 20 years.
Right. It's it makes me think of that line from Field of Dreams, one of Costner's most famous movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you build it, he will come.
Right.
But in their case, they built this incredible thing together.
Yeah.
But then the he that came was fame. And it kind of changed everything.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Yeah. And it's bittersweet,
Yeah.
They achieved their dreams, but maybe it cost them their love.
It's possible.
Okay, so we've talked about how their divorce happened right when Costner's career was taking off.
Yeah.
But the article mentioned some other things too,
Absolutely.
all those rumors about Costner flirting with his co-stars.
Nah, yeah.
And the tabloids were constantly all over them.
Right. And that's where the whole psychological impact of fame gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine always having to maintain this perfect image while also trying to make a long-term relationship work.
It's got to be tough.
It's like you're living in a fishbowl.
Oh, yeah.
Every single thing you do is magnified and scrutinized.
And this was before social media, but the paparazzi were still crazy back then.
Oh, for sure.
It must have been so hard to have any privacy at all.
Absolutely.
The article doesn't get into the specifics of why they divorced,
Right.
but it definitely paints a picture of a couple struggling with all the pressures and temptations that came with Costner's fame.
Yeah.
It's like their love story started as a fairy tale,
Mm-hmm.
but ended like a classic Hollywood drama,
Totally.
filled with ambition and temptation and the price of fame.
And maybe it's a reminder that even the strongest relationships can fall apart under that kind of pressure.
But Costner's story doesn't end there, does it?
Nope.
The article goes on to talk about his other relationships.
Yeah.
And that's where that eternal eligible bachelor label comes in.
Right.
But I think we should maybe challenge that idea a little.
I think so.
Yeah, because he's had several relationships.
Okay.
But they weren't all just quick flings.
You're right.
Like, take his relationship with Bridget Rooney.
Okay.
It was short and kind of messy.
Yeah.
But they had a son together, Liam.
Oh, that's right.
So it wasn't just a meaningless fling.
No, it definitely adds another layer to his story.
Right.
It shows that even brief encounters can have a lasting impact.
And it's another reminder that celebrities are just people, too.
Yeah.
They deal with love and heartbreak and being parents just like everyone else.
Totally. It shows that life isn't always black and white.
Yeah, especially when it comes to love.
Exactly.
So if we look past that eternal bachelor label,
Mm-hmm.
we start to see a more complex picture of Costner.
Okay.
Like someone who's searching for connection and meaning in his relationships,
Right.
even if they don't always look the way we expect.
And that brings us to his second marriage,
Right.
which actually lasted even longer than his first one.
Wait, seriously. 18 years.
Hmm.
Longer than his marriage with Cindy?
Yep.
This really makes me rethink that whole eternal bachelor thing.
Yeah.
What do you think this says about Costner?
I think it shows that he's capable of deep connection
Mm.
and that he's willing to learn and grow from his past.
Right.
And maybe it suggests that he really does want stability and family.
Yeah.
Even with all the craziness of Hollywood.
His second wife, Christine Baumgartner, she was a handbag designer.
Oh, right.
Someone totally outside the whole Hollywood scene.
Totally.
Do you think Costner was trying to find relationships with women outside of the entertainment industry so he could have some kind of normalcy?
That's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible that he wanted something different this time.
Okay.
A partner who could offer him a sense of grounding and stability
Yeah.
outside of all the pressure of his career.
It's really interesting to see how his relationships seem to reflect these different phases of his life.
Yeah.
Almost like he was looking for something different from each partner, you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean. And it reminds us that people change, don't they? Their needs and what they want in a relationship, it changes over time.
Right.
What worked in one relationship might not work in another.
Totally. And it makes me wonder about the impact of his past relationships. Did the breakup of his first marriage, the one that happened right as he got super famous,
Right.
did that make him want to avoid the spotlight?
It's possible.
Is that why he ended up with someone like Christine,
Yeah.
who was from a totally different world outside of Hollywood?
It could be. The article doesn't say for sure why he chose the partners he did,
Yeah.
but it does seem like Costner really values his privacy
Right.
and having a normal life.
Yeah.
Maybe he found that with Christine, someone who let him keep those two worlds separate.
And they were married for 18 years.
Yeah.
Which proves he's not afraid of commitment,
Exactly.
despite that whole eternal bachelor thing.
Yeah, it really shows that they were able to build a life together, even with all the challenges of Costner's career.
Yeah.
Just think about it, all the traveling, the public attention.
Right.
It takes a lot of work and understanding to make a relationship last with all that going on.
So we started with Snow White at Disneyland.
No, right?
Then we've got this Hollywood heartthrob,
Mm-hmm.
a marriage that survived his rise to fame, and then a second marriage that seemed to offer him an escape from all the attention.
It's quite a story.
It really is.
It really shows how complex human relationships are.
Yeah.
This search for connection and how love changes over time.
But sadly, even that one didn't last.
Mm-hmm.
Costner and Christine divorced last year,
That's right.
which just goes to show that no relationship is safe from change and heartbreak,
It's true, and it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
is there always going to be this tension between having a Hollywood career and wanting a normal private life?
Right.
Can you really have both?
It's something that a lot of celebrities have to deal with.
Yep.
And I think Costner's story, with all its ups and downs, it gives us a glimpse into that struggle.
It's almost like a Shakespearean tragedy, isn't it?
Yeah, kinda.
The rise to fame, the love affairs, the triumphs, and the heartbreak.
It's like a reminder that even people who seem to have it all
Yeah.
still face the same problems as everyone else.
Love and loss and all that.
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting.
I agree.
We've peeled back the layers of Kevin Costner, the movie star,
Yeah.
and found a story that's both relatable and totally unique to Hollywood.
It makes you question your assumptions, you know?
Yeah.
Makes you see things from different angles, and in the end, it leaves you with more questions than answers.
And that's what's so great about it.
I know, right?
It makes you curious.
Yeah.
Makes you want to learn more, to dig deeper into what makes relationships tick,
Totally.
and try to understand this crazy thing called love.
For sure.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left thinking, what does Kevin Costner's story teach us about our own lives?
Yeah.
How do we balance our careers and our relationships and finding happiness?
Good question.
It's definitely something to think about.
Definitely.
And as always, thanks for joining us on this journey.
Of course.
We'll see you next time when we'll unpack another fascinating topic.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have the ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what